Okay, it's 3 o'clock. We're going to call this meeting to order. I'll ask for approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
And a motion? And a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. There's going to be time for public comments here in a little bit, so I think we got a good crowd here, so I hope we get some comments from the crowd. So we'll go through the agenda and then we'll get to the comments. So, director report. Our director is not here due to some different reasons, health reasons. So I think Hannah, you're going to fill in. So.
Okay. So my name's Hannah, and unfortunately Chris is sick. I do have a few things that I have on hand that I can give out. We take count in Branchville how many customers come through and how many tickets we sell. So at Branchville, we had 1,048 new customers, and then the ticket sale is 1,910. And then for the Hamilton site, the customers we had is 1,095, and the tickets is 1,970. And I know also a big thing that she usually says and is if we receive any payments from Quincy or not cardboard, I think. So the total time, we did receive a payment early July for cardboard, and the total tonnage was 42,060 and the amount of $2,944. As far as that goes,
Was this for the year so far, these numbers? Or just for the month?
month, yeah.
Okay.
As far as that goes. And then as far as any other questions, just say, get with me after the meeting and I can get an answer back to you as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Financial report.
The claims are in the report. As far as the cash on hand, again, call the attention, this is as of July 1. After these claims are approved, we'll be down to about $33,000 left in the banks between all accounts. And I will need an approval tonight from the board to move the capital expenditures fund into our operating fund to continue to pay bills.
Okay.
That's what we need to do.
I got a question for you, Wes. I'm looking at your year-end report. I just did a quick calculation on the amount of money. Looks like we sold at the two locations. I'm $4,865 in trash tickets. And if I'm looking at this correctly, $12,535 in tipping fees for the month.
For the month of
June here.
June.
Yeah. And when I take a look at this for the whole year, it looks like our sale of bag tickets is $21,679, and our tipping fees are $33,061.75. So we're picking up trash, and it's costing us $12,000 so far, more than what we're taking in trash tickets.
last time the fee was increased, it was in an attempt to cover the tipping fees. That's been a few years ago, and prices aren't quite the same as they used to be, as we're all aware. And then the other aspect of that is we apparently get trash mixed in with other products that are recyclables that go into the dumpster that we don't actually sell tax for. So that's kind of double-edged sword.
Along with the labor to sort the recyclables.
Yeah, that's just the tipping fee, it's not the labor or any other associated.
Wes, are there any outstanding invoices that you know of?
I have been told that there are outstanding invoices. Any of them that we have received with a claims voucher are included on the last 2 or 3 months reports. The last board meeting, we sent those checks out. We had one staff who was out sick, so they went out a little later than normal. Normally go out Friday after the board meeting. So some of those checks went out in early July. But it has been stated a couple of times, I think there are some invoices that have not made it to our office yet as far as outstanding open items.
I think Chris said in the last meeting, it's $400 maybe, and
That was in her invoices.
right, that you like
There are
reimbursements.
others. My understanding is that there are others as well that just haven't made it down that hard. either lenient on their
Is there?
pay policies or that haven't been as urgent to get paid. Again, I haven't seen them, so I can't speak to that.
And we don't have any idea the amount of volumes of material on either one of the sites that still require a cost, either tipping or whatever. How many tons of material are on site, do we, you know, or what type of materials they even are?
Do you have any idea of how much payments need to be sent out, roughly?
I know we do have four big ones.
Four big ones?
Yeah, I know there's one that's like 7,000.
So it's 7,000 a big one,
Yeah.
and you got four of that size?
The other ones aren't they're under 5,000.
Would you guess it's around 20,000 altogether
Yeah, altogether, yes. Yeah. Or
Okay.
less.
or less?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that just for the month of June or July, or is that for all year?
That is for the last 2 months.
So there's really no debt over 60 days, then that's outstanding.
No.
Make sure vendors are,
Getting paid, yeah.
Okay. Probably since we're on finances, this is a question for the rest of the board. When'd be a good time to address the overall finances of this organization and moving? Or do you want to get in the public comments first? And come back to the finance? We have to approve them.
I mean, I think we follow your agenda,
Okay.
approve the finances, I don't know. I'll make a motion to approve the finances as presented.
Is that with the moving the money, what Wes just said?
Yeah, I mean, unless we need a separate motion for that.
Might just do it as two separate ones.
Okay,
Just to be safe.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll approve the finances, as they're up here. Got a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I think Randy made the motion. You second it, Becky?
Yeah.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, now, transferring the money from the account to where it needs to be. I'll need a motion on that.
I'll make a motion.
What's that specific, you want to move it from what?
From the capital expenditures fund, we historically earmarked that for future CapEx
CapEx to general or?
to general, yes.
All the whole amount?
Yeah, we'll leave whatever the minimum is, so we don't get beat on it.
Okay,
Everything in excess of that.
All right.
so it'd be 44,373. Okay, that's what capital expansion's there, so. Okay, need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion, need a second.
I'll second.
A second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. Now, let's go into public comments before we get in our discussion. You're allowed 5 minutes, each person, and I'd like to see them come up to the podium and for the people out in the world could see you on the video here, so. Just show your hands and I'll have you come up. Okay, Johnny first. State your name, please.
My name's Jane Eppinger Hayden. I'm the president of Town Board of Troy. And I was wondering if there's a reason there's not representation from Troy on your board, and what is the procedure to make that happen?
I've actually brought that up in the past. I don't remember if I brought it up in this meeting, but I think state statute sets out who can be on this board under the district. Is that, I don't know if anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's why. I guess it'd be up to the county commissioners or council as far as if they want someone on here, but maybe non-voting, so he gets a voice. But I think it's a state statute thing.
We will check into it.
Could you send me that state statute
I'll try to find it.
or something?
It's been a minute, so that's why it's
Okay,
like,
I mean, is there opposition to that?
I think at one time there was a member from Troy, but that's just my memory going back, but I don't know whatever happened.
But we will get you that information.
Okay, so then I would need to go to the commissioners?
maybe, we'll have to look into it. I don't want to put them on the spot and say, yes, I don't know, but I just remember reading it in newspaper articles back in like the 90s when they were forming this, and that's where my memory comes from. So that state statute could have changed since then too.
Well, I just want it to be known that we would like to have representation, and we will make sure that somebody would be available for your board.
I don't think there should be.
Okay,
We're always taking people for the advisory boards. If you want to be on it, we'd love to have you on that too.
that's not what I said.
No,
No.
I'm just
Okay.
giving you a hard time. Yes.
I know that. Okay.
But I think it'd be important to have either, voting would be great, but at least a voice
We'll
would
let
be
you.
better than nothing.
Okay, I'll step out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am,
Thank you.
I'm from Michigan. My name is Patricia Davidson, and I'm a resident of this county. And I've been a resident since 7 April 2021. And I just have a question and a comment. The question is, what items are you collecting at this recycle plant or those recycle plants that are profitable? What kind of commodities are profitable for this county?
I think as of right now, it's either cardboard and plastic or plastic and cardboard or neither one. The prices go up and down. Randy, do you have that with you?
Yeah, I wrote it all with me. We don't do a thing that is profitable. We spend,
No, it's nothing is profitable at
the only thing that,
solid
we
waste.
did a study, I brought it with me. The only thing that has a positive amount here after just upfront cost is metals. And we made a little money on metals. But then in order to manage this entire system, we spend $179,000 in administrative fees, along with 40, let's see, this is about 43,000 in additional. It's for local pickups, for hauling, and interstate driving. So our basic operations cost us, over and above just losing money on every commodity, $220,000 roughly to manage this. So if you spread it among all the commodities, it's even uglier. So everything we do, we lose money on.
Well, I've been out there a couple of times. I actually pay a company to come pick up my trash. And if I ever were to go out to the recycling place, I would purchase a ticket. And while I'm out there, I'm a retired vocational rehabilitation counselor from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. So I'm interested in talking to people about employment. And I was talking to the gentlemen that work out there and have learned a lot about them and that they're not making the money. So I was just wondering, where's this money going? Who's getting the money? That was my one question. Okay, so, and my comment is, as a new resident, I was summoned to court October 19th, 2023. And I just want to make it known that my name was in your newspaper. I'm retired. I'm a sergeant major. I've never been in trouble in my life until I come to this county. I want to keep that for sure. But, me too, right. But I was humiliated by having to come to this courtroom. And then there was no judge there, which is also baffling to me. They call me in here and there's no judge. But what is upsetting to me and what I think you all need to know is that when I bought my house here in this county, when I sat down with the realtors, they're supposed to tell us if there's an HOA fund, if there's, this fund or that fund. Nobody ever told me about it, right? And so in 2023, while my mother was laying dying in a hospital bed in Detroit, and I was by her side, that bill came and went on a little teeny piece of cardboard, paper like a postcard apparently. I never got it. So they wanted to charge me $190, for court costs and for a $40 fee that I didn't even know about. And so my suggestion to this county is, tell your realtors to let the new people, because I saw that sign out there. That's what caused me to pick Perry. You have this big sign that says pick Perry. So I'm from Michigan, and I'm here by way of 22 years of the Army and 15 years in the VA. And I came here to retire, and I'm leaving abruptly soon because I'm not satisfied with this county. But I really think your pig-pairing sign, you asked us to come here. You should inform us of these bills. I wasn't
I
happy
agree.
in court.
I agree.
And I think it's shameful that they called me to court and put my name in the newspaper. Patricia Davis. And that's all I have to say.
Okay.
My name's Nick Rice. I just stood here and heard you rob Peter to pay Paul. Send the bills out, 86 cents a week. That's what that fee is. I stopped and got a soft drink yesterday that covers 3 weeks worth of the 86 cents. So I don't think that's that big a deal. And as far as fees, and I've heard talk that people shouldn't pay the fee because they don't have to use it. I don't use the airport. I pay a fee for the airport. I pay a fee for fire protection every year. Hopefully I don't ever use it. I haven't yet. We pay fees for the library. Not everybody uses the library. Not everybody still has children in school. So there's a lot of fees we all pay that we may or may not use. Send the bills out. That's simple.
Anyone else? Ron?
Ron Horton. I'm just curious. I was here at the very first meeting of the solid waste district, back when it first started. And this place was jam-packed, 90% disagreed with the situation that was going on. I understand it's a state mandate, it had to happen and everything like that. But it's the way you went about doing it that made so many people anti-solid waste of this community, But have y'all ever looked at Spencer County? Not one
Yes.
time have I heard someone complain about Spencer County. You know what I mean? Right. I've been serving Spencer County.
I was there this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
But why is that?
Why is what? Because it's on their property tax bill.
Exactly. Every year when I write my $40 check out, $45 check out, I'm more kind of independent guy, big time. Now the government said, come up with $45. It's not a government, I'm not writing it to Perry County, taxes, it's government. I'm writing it to a solid waste bill. Why are they sitting there telling me to come up with $45? If you take it, it's all psychological, a lot of it is, If you take it away where I don't have to write a check, I'll be guaranteed I'll forget about it, hey, let's go on with it, But I agree, it needs to be, but it needs to be put on our taxes or something like that. And that way the lady ain't getting a big fine and all that stuff like that.
It would have solved her problem. It would have solved her issue.
Yeah, save my issue too.
She may have stayed in the community.
Back in the early days, I'll be honest with you, I didn't pay it, I was rebellious about it. I got a lien on my property and everything like everybody else did, but eventually I paid it, but it's just, needs to be set up like Spencer County is what
How do you feel about if it was proposed to bill only a certain population of the county?
Do what?
How would you react to sending the bills to only a certain population of the county, of the landowners? Like, just say we send it to Tell City and Hamilton only.
If they got a part in it, yeah, but if you take it out of my hands where I gotta write a check every year, pay for government stuff, that should be paid on my taxes, is what I think.
Yeah.
Every year when I pay my property taxes,
But
this should be on my property tax.
you'd be okay that we're part of Perry County,
Yeah.
and we'd be paying the $45, and let's just say Troy doesn't.
Okay, whenever you do you have like a city tax
Yes.
compared to a county tax?
We have a city tax and there's a county tax. There's
Well, it'd be on your guys, the other, for a city tax, the $45 or whatever it takes to maintain the solid waste. It'd be your responsibility to tax your residents to take care of that bill.
So
It's like the
everybody,
county, I live in the county, they're gonna add on my regular property taxes for my county taxes.
I think, we've talked in numerous meetings about it being on the property tax bills and how that should be,
Yeah.
I think the majority of this board might agree, or most would, that it should be more of a line item than based off your assessment.
Right.
we had that discussion maybe 3 or 4 months ago, I think. It's recording, go back and look. Nothing really moved forward with that, but I think that was a direction that we were entertaining. No motions were made,
Yeah.
but it was discussed.
Understand that, yeah.
But it boils down to, if you look at the motels in the city and in the county, some of them even, they get a $45 bill for every unit. So if it's a 60-unit hotel, they get one for every apartment.
Right.
But then, or apartment, every room.
Hotel room,
Motel
yeah.
room.
Yeah.
But you go to the nursing homes, they get one bill.
Yeah.
Now, when you go to a motel, you're more than likely going to check out and leave within a few days or a week.
Is that now?
Yeah,
That's
that's
how it is right now, right? Yeah, so it is right now, yeah.
It's that fairness as far as who should get, how many bills should they get? Should they get one? Should it be commercial? Should it be residential?
Mhm.
That whole structure needs to be evaluated
Right.
to have some fairness in it.
How they do it in Spencer County?
It's just an assessment on your taxes there. So there's no,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I realize
Yeah.
they got a lot bigger budget because they got a lot more error. Well, that's the same as far as population goes. But of course, a third of our county is owned by federal government. I don't know where that makes a play into whether how much money they
60,000
get.
acres.
65,000 acres.
Yeah, I don't know where that plays a role in the money we receive for taxes or not, which I'm sure it probably does, but they don't pay, you know.
Does.
They pay some, I'm sure, but they don't pay like they.
The thing about putting it on assessments, that's not good because look at your farmers.
Yeah.
That's right, and exactly, we've talked
Yeah.
about that. And I'm in no way saying to do that. I'm just saying that's how they do it.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, in my case, if I don't have every year, you know, it's psychological to me too, you know, and I guarantee you, see a lot of people in Perry County, you know, I know a lot of them, I've talked to them about it. When you're sitting down there writing out that $45 check, you say, man, I get up every morning, go to work, and here I am paying this little better, you know? And that's what they're thinking, you know?
But it's
And-
similar to what Mr. Rice said. You know, there's
Yeah.
people that pay an airport tax
Exactly.
on their property tax bill. Most of you probably don't even know that, but you do. There is a percent. If we sent a $45 bill out for the airport, this room would be packed too.
Yeah, yeah.
It's exactly,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Like I say though, you know, well, I'm saying, you know, you can do it any way you want to, but I'm just stating the way I feel about it, and I know a lot of the people I know feel about it too. Is if you can take that away, we have to write you a check every year, and then every year me getting mad over again, because it's psychological too, you know? You know,
What's your thought, when you said put it on property tax, would you put a flat fee on, or do you put assessment on? What was your comments
do
on
they
that?
do something like a piggyback?
Hey,
You ever heard of that?
You know, that hadn't in the last year, but several years ago, we tried, Lynn might help me with this.
Yeah.
But I don't think we can put a flat fee on, send that on the property tax. It'd have to be assessment.
Right.
Just like what Becky said, and then the landowners that owns a lot of land will pay more than somebody owns
Right.
a trailer.
Right.
So I think we got some farmers here, so, and that's one thing I think, my opinion, what they did years ago, they stayed away from that because of that reason.
Mhm.
And I don't know why Spencer County went that way, but majority of the landowners pay the biggest part of the bill down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spencer County does it on assessments.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people that own 400, 500, 600 acre farms, they're paying out the nose.
But like I say, I never have heard one person complain about Spencer County solid waste. And I've heard a lot of them complain about Perry County and the way business is done. Starting off, it was like $25 back in the day, you know, your fee was. And they had a $25 late fee. If you late, you paid the same amount as what, it's a little better now, a little bit better. But still pretty good little stiff little penalty if you're late, you know. If you're getting old like I am, sometimes you get a tater bill every once in a while.
They
you
can
know?
only be raised every 5 years and only
Yeah.
a certain percentage.
Yeah, but back in, it was like a deal, it wasn't back in, because they charged you a late penalty, the same as what your regular bill was. But that's the reason why I got started off on the wrong foot, but, and a lot of people say, hey, you know, it's really like, they rebelled against it, so.
You rebel, no. I said, you rebel, no.
We don't rebel no more, too old for that.
I just give you a hard time. I know.
Anyway, as I say, it's just good for thought, you know, like I say, Spencer County works pretty good, you know, that's what I hear, so.
They have a very nice site. I went
Evidently, you checked it out too, you know, so.
last week and
It is ran by the county.
Yeah, it was ran by the county, yep.
they're county employees. They get county insurance and benefits.
I think council members, all council members of different cities and stuff, on the board, I think, on it.
They have 7 sites, I think, total.
Yeah.
I was very impressed at their facility, what they offered and what the services they provide.
Yeah.
We don't charge for taking electronics, they do.
Yeah, they started that, yeah.
Those are all things we can work on. It won't solve our problem today. but-
Yeah, I've never used solid waste until last year. I took some dried up paint cans up there. First time I ever used it, So,
It's a good source for that.
yeah, so I wouldn't have a problem. I had no TV. But like I say, like most people, I got a dumpster I use all the time, so.
Sure.
But anywho, that's just like I said, I like ways, Smith County's run, so evidently you look that way,
I've been,
I believe you all make the best decisions, where you come up with.
They have this is their brochure or their pamphlet that what they collect, everything. It tells you. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I've done a lot of reading online, but you can get on their website and see everything on there. Yep, so. Anyway,
Thank you.
good luck, y'all.
Thank you for your comments.
And if
Good to see
you
you.
pay online, I don't want to get into that, come on, instead of having to write a check, because I don't like to write checks, because those cost money too, can it be set up to where you can make that payment online if it goes back to the district?
It would have to go through the PayGov type thing, and there would be a small fee with that. Was it Rachel? 3%? Okay, looking at you, because I know you do that in your office. I don't know about anybody else. Well, property tax lady does, or she is.
Hi, I'm Megan Frischley, 217 9th Street, Tell City. I just want clarification because the budget from the council was approved last year to build this. Mr. Cole said we could use edit funds, the idea died, and it's July. So we could have built it out, we could have redone the billing already in the 7 months that we've wasted. And now we're still at a standstill on how to send a bill out that was approved already last year. Right?
In essence.
Am I wrong?
The budget
Okay.
was approved, yes.
So this is what I'm not understanding. How does a solid waste board trump the county council who approved the bill to go out? Why have a council? The bills should have went out, and then now, we still have 5 months. You could still use that time on who to bill and who not to. It could be Walmart, could be, $700. Wapaka could be however much, and then residents may not have to pay $45. We're wasting time, but I'm confused as to, because I'm crazy about governmental policies, you know this. Why is the county council's decision to budget this still on hold? I'm not trying to be aggressive, I'm really not. I don't understand it. How another board can trump our physical body. Okay, so can we have somebody send this out and then we can figure it out the rest of the year? I said this a month ago and there was no response. There's no good reason. Is it gonna make people mad? Yeah, it is, but there's no other fix. So you've got the half the county that's gonna be mad, the other half of the county's not gonna be mad. It's politics. You're not gonna win either way. So, and who said, is it profitable? Well, it's trash. It's a service. Not every service is profitable. So I know, I'm just sorry, black and white, but it's been 7 months. And we're going to lose it, and people are gonna lose their jobs. So yeah, you have to worry about the other taxpayers, but the people are going to lose their jobs and their citizens as well.
no one's going to lose their jobs because it's not going to close,
Perfect, that's great,
period.
okay.
End story.
Well, that's the first we've heard of that though.
No, it's not. These two gentlemen right here,
Said it at the end of the commissioners meeting.
That's
The
correct.
public doesn't have any information. Do you understand how it's frustrating? Like, you guys might know, but everyone else has conjecture on what's on social media.
there's been too much social media out there, and it's got this county in an uproar.
Well, was anything I said wrong?
We actually heard from the people that run the recycling center that it was closing.
Correct. And that's not correct.
We're gonna be out of money unless we do something here today. No, I could probably speak for every board member here, and it's been said over and over, nobody's intention of closing this. Do we operate it different down the road? Maybe. but nobody supported us closing this from all the way down here to smoking, all the way down to the Gale. That we've said this in every meeting that we've talked about this, so. But we gotta figure it out. And I think we'll
I
get there.
think that there can be a lot of changes made at solid waste, and there has to be, solid waste is not there to be profitable. But, and it is for the citizens. But I don't like seeing it run hundreds of $1,000s in the red every year. I don't think anybody in this room does. That's your tax dollars. I mean, I don't, there
What
needs,
tax dollars?
Yeah.
What tax dollars? What tax dollars go to the solid waste?
what do you pay every year?
Let's call it a fee dollars,
A fee dollar.
because fee and tax can be the same thing.
Okay, it's not a tax dollar.
It is demanded of the public. You don't have an option, just like the other lady. She didn't have an option to pay it. She had to pay it. So you can call it whatever you want to. Here's the concept. Now, it cost us $377,000 last year in subsidies to run this organization. Now, just to simplify it, because I'm simple, I'm going to change that to $400,000. In 5 years, we'll have spent $2 million in subsidies for solid waste. If we don't do anything, in 10 years, it'll be $4 million in subsidies. Now, I think it's the board's responsibility to look at what we're providing, why we're providing it, and if there's opportunities to make this a more efficient operation. Will it ever make money? No. Is the service required? Yes. Many of us are old enough to remember the old dumpsters in the county. They put them out there, they filled them up, they threw the trash all around them. The skunks, the raccoons, and everybody got into them, tore them out, scattered them all over the roads. It was nasty. We found couches, beds, you name it, everywhere. We're not going back to that era. Now, that's what we have talked about. We've decided through this whole thing. But to continue to ask for those kind of subsidies without considering any potential cost-saving measures, we just got these numbers, I think is not doing the citizens justice.
I think you would say.
Permission to speak, please?
Yes.
Thank you. I'd like to start off by just saying, you're not going to please everybody. And I know what was behind the change of all the hotels room having to pay. It came from citizens' complaints who were paying for each individual cabin, who said, well, we're paying for each individual cabin. Why aren't the hotel rooms paying for each individual hotel room? That's where that came from, so I'll answer that question.
What's your name, ma'am?
Maggie Stilling, and I live in rural Perry County. I worked in Perry County in the mid to late 70s for Purdue University. When I retired, and even, well, about 8 years before I retired, I bought property back here. When I was going to retire, I had choices. I could go back to my home county. I could stay in Indianapolis, where Purdue had shipped me to for another 20-something years of my career and years at IUPUI. I could have stayed there in Indianapolis. I chose to go back to Perry County. Why? I loved it here. I loved the Purdue National Forest. I loved the people here. I love this place. I chose to come back here, and I'm still happy I came back here, but I definitely have some concerns. I've been told that the crux of the matter for PCR&D is why are the towns that already have a trash recyclable pickup program paying the $45 that really benefits the rural people more? So I have questions for you guys, so you might want to be writing these down because I want to make sure I get everything in my 5 minutes. So is that the real crux? Question number one. Then I read the article in the paper in the last week or so. Mayor Kale made a motion to dissolve the solid waste, but it failed to send to the commissioners. Other counties have done this successfully. Dissolving is another way of saying that the program will be restructured, not that it would go away. Great point. The county would take the responsibility. What I want to know is, what are those plans for restructuring? Next issue. What do the Tell City residents and the Troy residents pay for their pickup, their curbside pickup? Do they also pay the $45 county fee? Which items does Tell City not take, which then end up at Kennington anyway? What are the alternatives that all of you favor? I'd like to know what they are, because that would probably settle down some of the brouhaha that's going on in the county right now, which is unfortunate, but as a democracy, we all have the right to speak, and I'm here to speak. As changes are looked at, I hope you'll consider the high cost of trash disposal if one has to get a dumpster, like I would, living in the country, or get a private hauler, like some of my neighbors have. And remember that those who recycle will have to pay the same cost per month that those who don't. So my neighbor out might be putting out 10 bags of trash and paying that $15 a week trash hauler fee. I'm an avid recycler. Anybody that knows me can vouch for that. I have maybe only 1 or 2 trash bags a month, people, because I recycle everything. I was taught by my dad. My dad worked at Alcoa. When he went to work for Alcoa, he was a bricklayer at Alcoa. And they educated them and told them about how much less it costs in air pollution and in fuel costs to make new aluminum from old aluminum cans. So when he got home, and I'm the oldest of 10, he got home, he said, we are recycling. I'm putting a barrel out of the old smokehouse, and we're gonna start recycling cans. That was in the 70s, people. I've been recycling since then because my dad was a very visionary and progressive person who also was a county commissioner at one time. So let's remember that those of us who recycle are gonna pay that same big fee out in the country. So the idea of only sending it, only having services for the people of Troy and the people of Tell City, I think that's unconscionable. And when you have only those, I shouldn't be penalized for doing the right thing as a citizen, for taking advantage of a service that I have paid for and using those services well and to the max. I shouldn't be penalized for that. And neither should anybody else in the country. Also, remember that the issue is just not about money. It's about aesthetics. It's about doing the right thing. Figure out a way to get it on the tax bill or something. I know you're saying we can't do the edit thing. We can't do the flat fee. Do something. Just figure it out. Like Ms. Fritchley said, we've been dragging on this with this. I've been saving all the tokens on this for months. So I know that what Megan said is true. We've been dealing with this for months. We need to come to a decision. We need to be very transparent about what you're planning to do. How are you going to restructure? What are the alternatives going to be? And get it out there correctly in the paper and put it on Facebook and put it everywhere you want to put it, because not everybody gets the paper and sees that it said, restructure, it's restructuring, it's not closing the facility. I saw that, not everybody saw that. So those are my questions and those are my comments, and I thank you very much for the ability to get up and just make a democracy. I have with me some information if anybody wants to pick these up. I have just a very few, there aren't too many. Tourism is important to Perry County. You want to know about how important tourism is and why we don't want trash all over the roads and have a bad reputation? Here's something about how much we get back from tourism. I also have a thing about the laws on burning trash. It's illegal in Indiana. And several other things. So this is a booklet that talks about those kind of things. So if anybody's interested in those, they're up here. And again, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
My name's Martha Newcree, and I live out in the St. Mark's area. I do have a question first. You talked about how we subsidize this to the tune of $300,000. Is that being subsidized or is that being paid by the $45 fee?
It's being paid by the $45.
Okay, so it's just, I asked a question. You're paying $45, it's taxes. I'll agree it's a tax. And I think you mentioned about there's like 3,000 customers who use these two facilities in the last month. Now, how much do we pay for the airport and how many customers do you think use the airport? I know it's over $200,000 in taxes. that we pay. At least I know the budget was over 200,000. So you're gonna punish all these customers and say, you know, the taxes that we're asking you to pay for this service is not as important as the taxes you ask per person to pay for the airport. So I think it's a little bit unfair to say, okay, we're gonna use the taxes for this, but not for that. When more people utilize this service than I wonder if more people use this service than they use the library. I know more people use this service than they use the airport. I live out by the airport. I remember when Wapaka used to fly 3 jets about every week. They'd wake me up in the morning and I could hear them in the evening. I don't know who uses the airport anymore. I know they added more, places, hangars, more hangars. But I don't see near as many planes fly as they did when I first came out. I remember a penny a pound day. You gotta go up and fly per pound, 60 cents, you know, I was small back then. But anyway, I just wanna go back to the point is, I use this service. I get a bag of trash, 1 bag of trash every 2 weeks, 2 bags of recyclables. Now you're gonna make me go pay for a hauler who wants to charge me at a minimum $20 or $30 per month to pick up my trash for 6 bags? Just, you know, the cost has gotta go somewhere. The service has to be provided somehow. And if you're gonna say the government's not gonna provide the service, private's gonna provide the service, everyone knows when the private provides that public service, it's gonna cost individuals more. Because they have to make profit.
I kind of want to echo everything Stepple said. You know, why is it that we've been working on this matter for months and months and months and months and months, and there has been nothing put out? Why can't the board make a decision and move forward with this? I live in Tell City. I don't know how much I paid in Tell City, or I do know I paid that $45, whatever, and I don't complain about it. It's a service, and I appreciate it. But, to sit here and put your hands under your desk and twiddle your thumbs and saying, well, we've looked at that, or we're studying that, doesn't do anybody any good. It makes the board look like a bunch of idiots because they can't move forward with a proposal or a solution. And something needs to be done, and it needs to be done now. Thank you.
Charlie?
Thank you, sir.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've sat in that seat. I was on this board for 3 years while I was on the county council. I was on the board that decided to charge the hotels for each room, and that was a tough decision. I was also on this board when we thought about raising the fee, and we had twice as many people here as we do today. Just a couple things. Chet Matheny was the representative on this board. He lived in Troy.
Years ago.
And the other thing, Megan made a comment about the county council. The county council has nothing to do with the solid waste, okay? They look at the budget and they okay it, but they have nothing to do with it. Okay, so that's one of the misconcerns. Every year, when did we hear the griping? When the cards went out. But that was the only way. I sat on the budget committee of this board for 3 years. And we had to estimate what we thought we were going to bring in with the fee that we charged to the residents and also the commodities. You never knew about cardboard because it was going up and down every month. We didn't know if we were going to take a big hit or if we, we're going to be even. But that was just a part of it. I know that there have been some comments about using some tax funds to help supplement this. I would like to see the cards to go out as soon as possible. The other part of it, if there's going to be a time lapse that maybe some money could be loaned to the solid waste out of the edit fund or whatever to help it survive until the fees come in. but I know every year it's this. I agree that it needs to be restructured. You have to look at what you're taking in, what you're sending out. But I think it can be done. As far as on the tax bill, I still think it can be a line item on the tax bill. And I've said that for years, that we should, really look into it.
Good afternoon. My name is Steve Olin. I live on 10th Street in Tell City. Use the Cannleton Recycling Center from time to time. I like to take my recyclables versus putting it out on the curb. But I've seen multiple meetings here of the board, and there's always discussion, and then everybody leaves. And what I say is you need to manage the situation. If I manage the situation the way I would do it, I would make a smaller subgroup. It might be 3 people or 2 people or 1 person to make a comprehensive recommendation. By the way, I agree, send out the tax bills. Or not the tax bills, but $45 bills. Do that first as a management principle. Don't cut off your funding before you have figured out your plan. So send out the $45 bills, the heck with all the complaining. Make a smaller group, 7 people or 300 people can't make a plan. To submit a plan and then make the decision, and next year, maybe it's $45 bills. I don't know. Maybe instead you guys say, we're gonna do something different. I don't like it being on the tax bill. That's, to me, that hides it. You're still paying $45, or you're paying some amount. Some people are paying more that maybe shouldn't have to pay more. Anyway, that's my thing. Make a plan. Don't just leave here today and say, see you later, see you next month. But that's what you've been doing.
Larry?
I told my wife I would not speak.
She's not gonna watch. I had to lighten it a little bit, I'm sorry.
I've got several comments, and I'll try to keep it brief. First, Mark, you're paying $75 a year to the city for trash services, $6.25 a month on your water bills. That is just to let you know everything. Let me start off by saying, send the bills out. Send the bills out and start generating some revenue for the solid waste district so that they can continue operating. Now, I want to address a number of issues.
Can I break your train of thought for a second?
Pardon me?
Can I break your train of thought for just 1 second? Who is going to receive the bills? Everybody.
Everybody
Everybody in the county. Okay,
Yes,
good deal.
exactly.
Perfect.
It's not a fair system. I know it's not a fair system. It's not fair that Wapaka pays $45 and Mark Crest pays $45. We all know it's not a fair system. But we take the rest of this year to figure out a fairer system and implement it next year, okay? That's my suggestion. Mayor, and we've talked about this before, and God bless you, you're my favorite mayor. But I disagree with you over motels, okay? Because the motels are not paying that $45 fee. The people that stay in those motels is paying that $45.
They are now. They weren't.
They are now.
Correct.
Okay? And I would suggest to you that everybody that stays in our motels probably come from outside of the county. So it brings new revenue into the county. Okay?
The only difference that I'd say the nursing home, each unit, and the hospital should get it too. That makes it fair-ish.
That's debatable, okay? But
Your taxes are fair.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can't put a system where it's fair to everybody. We don't use the same thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I've heard people say, I pay that $45 fee and I don't use the service. If you live in a county and create solid waste, you do use the service. I pay the $45 fee. I've never taken stuff to Branchville. I don't even know where the site is at Branchville. Okay, so surely there can be a better system, but we've waited too long. Now, what I've heard, the only proposal that I've heard, instead of sending out the $45, is to use edit funds to support solid waste. I strongly disagree with that. I think that is an improper use of edit funds. It may be legal, it may not be legal, but it's an improper use, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is if you use edit funds, anybody that works out there and draws a paycheck, they pay edit funds. Businesses like Walmart, McDonald's, Wapaka, any business, they don't pay edit taxes. So you're shifting the total burden away from businesses and putting it on the working taxpayers. That's not right. So I'll stop with that. Thank you.
One thing I do want to comment there, Larry, the large majority of the $45 bills go to people just like the individuals sitting in here. Very few there are very few commercial businesses that contribute towards it. It's something like 6,000 out of 7,000 are actual individual residents. And if our director was here, she could tell us the exact number.
Do apartment residents pay $45 a piece?
Yes, each unit.
The owner does, right?
In my case, I own an apartment because it is a fee, which I call a tax. Each individual apartment owner has to pay $45 as of March 15th. That funding is submitted to the county. So they pay it individually. I don't bill it into my apartment rental. And what did I do to ask the
I
question?
said you were charging your individual apartments. I said,
Yes.
did you do that this year?
No,
Okay.
because I didn't get a bill. That would be
Okay.
disingenuous of me to come over here and misrepresent a fee, and I won't
just
do
simply
that.
asked the question.
I won't do it because they pay whatever the county assesses.
I thought you.
No money, no nothing, they just pay it. It's a pass-through.
I would like to go back to the questions that I posed earlier to get answers to all those questions.
Your question, I think we answered the amount, right? That was one of them.
Well, I said that I had been told that the crux of the matter, PCRMG, is why are the towns that already have a trash recycling pickup program paying the $45 that really benefits the rural people more? Is that really the crux, or what is the crux of the matter? That was my first question. And then I asked, what do Tell City residents pay for curbside pickup? And what does Troy pay for their pickup?
Let me just answer them real quick as you go through them, so I don't forget. We already got to Tell City, it's $6, $7 a month. I don't know Troy's, you'll have to,
$6.70 a month? $6.
you'll have to ask Troy what they pay. I don't know their amount. But that's,
$5 a year to.
the curbside is your trash and curbside both is included in that fee.
Okay. And
So
what
there's no
Troy's-
separate fee for us to come by and pick up your recyclables. It's included when that truck or
and then-
whatever goes down the alley, picks up your things.
And Troy is what?
That's a question for Jane.
Anywhere from $5 to $8, I'm not sure right now.
5 to 8 a month?
Yes.
But what Tell City does is we actually use the trailers and one truck to go around down everybody's alley or out for their house if they don't have an alley. We pick up their recyclables on our labor, on our dime, on our fuel, and we drive up to Cannleton and we say, hey, guess what? Here's a truck full of these commodities, recyclables, and they turn around and sell them. That's no different than that truck going around picking up a $1 bill at everyone's home and driving up there and say, here it is now.
But the truck belongs to PCRMG.
Correct, but Tell City, by doing that, helps subsidizes their finances in essence. If we didn't do that, if we would collect that ourselves and keep it, we could maybe reduce our cost for trash pickup in Tell City, but it would hurt solid waste because they wouldn't get those funding.
Troy does the same thing.
Right.
We pick up the trailer.
Yep.
And you're saying that Tell City and Troy also pay the $45 county fee, right?
Oh, yeah, everyone does, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Which items does Tell City and Troy not take, which then do still end up people having to?
I can only probably speak what we do take, because they have a longer list of
Okay.
what they don't. And I can get you that later. Basically, plastic, cardboard, glass, aluminum cans, metal cans, newspapers. I'm missing something else, I think. But the majority of your basic recyclables, yes.
So you don't take electronics?
We do not pick up,
You don't
no.
take toxic substances?
No, it all goes through the county
You
side.
don't take scrap metal?
Well, if you count aluminum can as scrap metal, but no.
Yeah, but
They do
scrap
take
metal.
No, we do not pick that up.
Scrap
No.
metal. You don't take used oil?
The city don't. Now, the solid waste district does, but the city does
I
not.
understand, but
Right.
I'm asking what things Tell City doesn't take, but then end up at PCRMG. And so, used oil, which when I bought my place, someone left in the shed that I now own, 5-gallon buckets full of used oil. And I found lids for and was able to take down there. They left a lot of pesticides, they left a lot of things, and also a lot of things were left in the barn. So I was very happy to have a place to take that. So again, the Tell City and Troy residents have to take those things to Hamilton. So
Sure.
they're still getting some use out of the Hamilton facility. for
Oh,
that.
yeah, I don't think you would disagree that Tell City residents don't appreciate this facility and a bunch of them use it. That's not what I'm saying.
If you didn't understand, Tell City residents pay that $45
Yeah.
fee also.
Yeah, I've got that. But it's also the recyclables stay out of the trash. So
Absolutely.
you're using less of your trash. truck
Absolutely. And that's less trips to the landfill or to the transfer station and
Yeah. it
less
works
labor.
Hand in hand.
Less
The more
cost.
recyclables, less trash. They work together.
And it can help a resident if they don't want to spend $10 a month on trash tags, they recycle more, they would reduce tags they have to buy and what have you. That's their choice.
And I also asked, what are the alternatives and options that all of you are favoring, since you're saying you're not going to close it, but you want to see some changes? What changes are you proposing? And I said that needs to be shared with everybody so that everybody is not getting their information off of social media, but is getting the straight facts, or put it in the paper or whatever you think is going to get to people. So that's a longer answer to that, so I'll go with a shorter one. And I said, I don't, how is it fair to shortchange the people who are recycling, who live out in the country, and making them pay for a trash hauler or a dumpster, which is aesthetically not very pleasing either out in the country. So that, I think that covers all the questions that I had put out there.
All right. Thank you, Maggie.
Yeah, one thing, last week I went to the Hamilton site and talked to people. I know the plastics, some of those are recyclable, some of them.
Yeah, we take 1 through 7 here in Perry County. We're one of the only counties I know of, and I was in Spencer County. I've been in Indianapolis. My siblings in DuBois County can't recycle all the stuff that Perry County takes. They have size limits on lids, size limits on containers, these Utz, cheese ball things. They don't take those in DuBois County. Perry County has one of the best programs in the state when compared to the other counties I have lived in. We should be proud of it. We should be supporting it with all of our might, not denigrating it, not tearing it apart bit by bit and trying to destroy it or make it a less of a program than it has been. We should be absolutely proud. We take electronics, as I said earlier, without cost. Every place else I've been, Indianapolis included, they had 1 or 2 tox away days a year. So I had to hang on to those things until the tox away day, and then take it and then pay $10, or if it's a bigger TV, it's more expensive than that. Here we take it for free. We take the scrap metal, we take all the toxins. We have a great program here. We should be proud and we should support it.
Right. And I agree with that, because my wife and I, we recycle. Like I said, we'll have maybe 1 bag of trash per, and that's part. But what's happening at the recycle centers, people drop off a bag of recycled things, but they're not, a lot of it has trash in it. So now the workers, and that's, like I said, I talked to them last week about it, they have to spend time going through the bag, which should be recyclables, but it's not. A lot of it's just trash, recyclable on top, so they don't pay a tag. They drop that off, now they've got to go through all these bags, because they've got a place, gosh, just about as big as this room, full of plastics.
Yeah.
With a lot of bags. Like he said, we're gonna go through every one of those bags and sort it out, not necessarily trying to eliminate the different plastics and the, but get the trash.
Yeah, I get that, and it's never gonna be perfect. There are always gonna be people who don't follow the rules. But again, it's not a perfect system. Nothing in this life is pretty much perfect as far as
That's
I
what
know.
we might try to do different, that would be something we're gonna have to address,
Right.
is how to get the, whether they have to pay a tag for anything in bags. Like I said, we have a plastic clear bag that we can empty into the dumpster, and they can see what it is, and we may have to go something like that.
Well,
Same
another
time.
example of people not behaving is when the police see trash dumped along Sycamore Road or some of these other places, mattresses, couches, whatever, guess who gets the call to go and pick that up? GCRMD does. So they go and do that too. So there's another example of things that they do that are services to this county. Yeah, it shouldn't happen. People shouldn't be doing that, but they do. And so we've got PCRMD there that the police can call and say, hey, somebody dumped a truckload of stuff out here on such and such. Can you come get it? And they do.
I think having,
A lot of benefits.
we installed cameras on some of these roads that are huge dumping sites. I'm not gonna say which ones.
But the county also provided dump trucks, labor, backhoes.
And the city accountant also.
Accountant did too.
Yeah,
For some of
but
them,
it was
it's
a-
probably true. but I
It was
don't-
a joint.
Brady, can I ask one more question?
if they dump anything now, those cameras, if it's a one road, there's one on each end, they will be fined heavily.
Right, but what happens is, and this is what happened years ago too, when people were in the habit of constantly dumping into ditches, they find a new ditch.
True.
You guys said there was a solution. So is that from the commissioners or is the county council gonna address that tonight? Or are we gonna actually get a solution from this meeting? Anybody?
I can't speak for the council, so that's where the funds gotta come.
So I noticed on the council, there was a tax modification very first. So are we gonna actually get a solution this meeting? Because it's in about 55 minutes. So I think all of us wanna go to that one if it's not gonna be offered here.
The solution's not gonna be offered here, 'cause we can't figure out what the council's gonna fund us.
But solid waste is not going to close, period.
I got a question from
You can
Mel.
say your intent is
Mayor.
My intent wasn't to gain all the weight I did, but I did, and you gotta put your money where your mouth is, and if you don't intend, it's gotta be funded.
That's where this board has to make a decision. It might not be the decision everybody in this room wants, everybody in this county wants. But
I
this
thought you
board,
said you can't make a decision
we will make a decision. We will. It may not be today,
about funding or about what?
about solid waste,
About funding it or not funding it?
both.
Keeping it open.
Keeping it open, it will stay open.
All of the sites will stay open.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
The current services will remain.
Yes, ma'am?
I got a question for Mayor. You might have made a comment, I know there's a lot of discussion on sending the bills out. I think at one time, do we have to have a public hearing and send them out later than the due date?
It's a question for State Board of Accounts. I don't want to speak on that wrong. I know in change in rate and change in billing, yes. As far as the date it's billed, is Chris Hamilton? No, she's at that, she's at the county. Okay. I don't know. To be on the safe side, I would definitely check with State Board of Accounts, because that's the last thing I want to see us getting written up over something so minor as that, whenever it's just a question and, date thing.
State Board of Accounts have to approve you not sending them?
Yeah, I know, that might be another, but if you're gonna change your rate and billing, yes, that would have to be advertised.
Yeah.
As far as
We're not changing the rates.
You caught me off guard, I don't know the best answer, I'm sorry. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the other ordinance written.
My opinion on it, but reviewing things, I think you can send bills out because you're not changing anything.
Yeah.
You're just late in sending them out, but, now if you propose a change in the fee structure, then that
Yeah.
requires a public hearing.
Exactly, yeah.
Or a change in who's billed.
Correct.
There's been a lot of good points here today, and I'm glad we've had, and I thank everyone that spoke and came here today. On my side, there's a lot of good information I gathered here. And over the last 6 months with this, the concerns of the residents of Perry County is huge for this program, more than I ever thought it was. Which we've got the people that's totally against it, and they're not here, and we seen that last time when we tried to raise the fee. With some of the questions that was asked here, what kind of plan we got to take it over. We haven't dug that deep into a total plan yet. The other counties has dissolved it and run it, and we would probably fund it and run it the same way until we figured out how to fine tune it. That's my opinion. Might be different opinion for the rest of the board here. I could go either way. I think it needs to be operated by the county somehow, some way. But it sort of is with 3 commissioners and 2 mayors and council members on here. I would like to, what Randy said earlier, I think we can make it more efficient. That's going to take some time and looking at different programs, what we take and what we don't take. And again, I agree with some of the comments. It is a service. It's not here to make money. It's not here to break even. It's a service that everybody can use in the whole county. If you don't want to use it, that's fine, but someday you might need to. If you lose your dumpster or something like that or whatever. So I would be okay with sending out the dues, but I would like to, if we would do that, I want to form a committee to really dig deep in looking at this for next year. Because this is our own problem. We kicked this can down the road too long. And I think the comments showed that here. And that's all our fault as a board. We had an option early on in the year to fund it this year to give relief to people. That failed because of the question, was it legal or not with the edit funds. We had some issues out of Branchville early on in the year that it wasn't open. At the same time, we were going to send a bill out. That's one reason I said, well, maybe we could give a little relief this year if we can fund it a different way. Because we was getting complaints that people tried to take their trash to Branchville, the recycling, and it was not open. We fixed that problem since then, our director has. So, it's going to be up to the board if they want to make a motion, however they want to do it. But I think you guys are looking for an answer today, and we need an answer today as a board, what we're going to do, because next month's too late financially. So
I see 3 options that could be voted on today. Send out the bills, number 1. Number 2, dissolve solid waste, turn it over to the county and restructure. Number 3, put it on tax bills. That's 3 options.
The only problem with tax bills, and that's great options, and I appreciate everything you said. The first check that they would get is in June. After tax bills are sent out in March, due first week or so in May, settlement's done, you're out, for they would see their first dollar. It's a good option, but I think it's something that will come later, not tonight, if we're discussing this. So I'm not the tax person out here, I just know that. That's a,
Chris.
who
Just for a point
said,
of
I'm sorry.
information- I'm sorry. For point of information, Troy's is $12 a month or $13 a month, depending on how many Wednesdays there are. And that, with that, they get 4 or 5 trash tags.
Okay,
Just
thank you. That's Maggie's. Did you get that, Maggie?
12 to 15 a month, yes.
12 to 13.
And 12 to 13, depending on how many Wednesdays.
13.
And 4 or 5 trash tags.
12 to $13?
Yeah, 12 or 13, depending on if it's a 4 or 5 week Wednesday month.
And they get,
Thank you, I appreciate it.
they get trash tickets.
Yeah,
And you get
plus they
4
get,
or
yeah,
5
one trash sticker per
per
week.
week, and they're $1 additional if you want to purchase.
Thank you for that
You're welcome.
clarification, I appreciate it.
It's probably similar to what Tell City residents would pay if you figure in the tags they get. It's not plus or minus $1, maybe. I don't know, something like that.
And also, to dissolve the solid waste and turn it over to the county, it would take an ordinance from both commissioners and the council. After dissolution, the assets would automatically transfer to the county. Depending on the asset, we may need to do some license transfers, etc. But statute states they become county property. There's a slightly different provision for those if the assets have debt attached, but in timely, they become the county's property. In terms of what succeeds solid waste, it depends on what you want to look at that entity. Restructure. And restructuring is going there, seeing what's working, what's not working. We don't need a bunch of stuff that don't belong there because it costs to take it off. So if we start going into statutes that have provisions concerning disposal of waste, hell, we may need to follow statute. I can look more deeply into it, but may be pragmatic to see what other counties did in terms of successor entities.
That's from the attorney.
That's from the county attorney. And it does take 90 days to do this, and the county will pay for solid waste.
And you pay the county employees?
Yes,
You can't afford it without paying them what?
They should make more than $8 and $25 an hour.
they're making $8.50
I'm
an hour
embarrassed by
right
that.
now.
You're not. That's
It's
ridiculous.
So
ridiculous.
I'll just say that. I am embarrassed by that. I'll admit it.
When you're comparing to other counties, have you ever looked at their cost? You said they take this recycles, they don't, but what is their cost? I know their cost is in their tax fees, but what is budgeted towards their recycling and all that then? Are they budgeting less than us? Are they budgeting more than us?
I think it depends on the size of the counties.
So I mean, really, if you want to compare whether we're doing an efficient job or an inefficient job, sometimes you have to compare to what they're doing.
Correct.
Are we doing it better than Spencer County because we're, I don't know, disposing of a ton of trash cheaper than they're disposing of a ton of trash? I mean, you really got to compare the cost too, and just not the services. and
Yeah,
just
I've been to
what they're
Spencer County and talked to them down there and the commissioners down there, which the county does own it down there. And they,
doing. Do you know what it costs them per year to run it? I mean, I thought someone said here it was $500,000.
it's a lot more than that,
Okay.
a
see,
lot more.
They're paying tons more than we are then.
But
We're
they-
getting more of a service.
They're also taking, they get theirs from the assessed value
Oh, I
on their
understand.
tax bills.
But I'm just saying to take care of the problem, which is trash and recyclables.
This is only if we vote to dissolve and restructure.
Spencer County, I think, has 7 sites.
Yes.
Their costs are gonna be substantially more.
Correct.
Okay, and I'm just saying, we're taking care of ours at a lesser price, is all I'm saying. And I know you say, well, we don't want to take maybe the couches or the sofa and stuff, but your citizens still are gonna have to pay something to get rid of those.
Sure.
Either we can pay the county, or we're gonna pay the
Right.
transfer fees over at Lewisport, or
Right.
some other fee.
And then
So
if
it's
we-
just, the cost just isn't gonna go away,
Right.
because you don't take care of the cost.
And I think that's where the board says we're not gonna close down solid waste because those couches don't need to be
They wind up in the
in
ditch.
the ditches. We're just not gonna do that.
No.
Irregardless of how this works out, we're not gonna do that. Over in Davis County is where we haul all our trash to. There's 5 items that they don't charge a fee for. Lead acid batteries, oil, aluminum cans, aluminum scrap, and tin. And it's on their website. Anything else that's brought to a recycling center has a fee associated with it. And they run a landfill. Now, we take a huge amount of items. And there's a reason I think Spencer County takes 2 types of plastics. The reason is because of cost associated with taking everything. So the question is if we want to continue to take everything, or do we want to take, right now, by our study, if we took trash and cardboard, 92% of our recycling trash activities would be taken by those 2 items. Those 2 items, 92% of it has been taken out. Now, those are a lot easier to manage than this broad array of all these other things. A lot of counties, when you talk about electronics, and I haven't checked on this, but I get emails from all kinds of different people, and they said the Goodwill will take electronics. I don't know whether that's true or not. I know that the lead acid, okay, then that's incorrect information that's provided.
That 92%, is that by weight or volume?
It's by weight. It's by weight.
Weight, well, that's not being fair about it then.
59% of our material that comes in is trash or waste. 33% of it's cardboard. 5% is plastic, newspapers 2%, books are 1%. The rest of it's not even a percentage. They don't have a percentage amount down here. And this is from a study that we just recently did in order to try to determine what our costs are and what we're actually handling, so we can manage it.
So if you don't take that for recycling, you'll just say, throw it in the trash?
That's what'll happen to it.
And so that's what you'd rather throw the trash instead of recycling?
And if you read a lot of recycling, what happens is the same as what Gail just said. When you bring a sack in, as soon as they open it up and it has anything in there that's not the proper material, they put it in the compactor. The reason is the cost of the labor is so phenomenally high by the time they sort it that it just tears the budget in. I mean,
I'm up there every other week, and to tell you the truth, I don't see sacks thrown in the plastics are thrown in these bins. I don't see sacks there. I don't see.
They were the only sacks that come from Branchville. These were outside. That's been the last 15 years anyway.
Okay, I mean, because I just don't see sacks in the recycling.
If you look outside where they have the big stones to hold them in place,
yeah,
it's disposed things as well.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And that's what you see several sacks.
I subscribe to the Indianapolis Business Journal online, and I get it secondhand from a friend of mine in Indianapolis to read that paper. Every so often, there's an article in there about businesses in Indiana that like to use recycled plastic to make new items out of. And they're claiming that Indiana people are not recycling enough to give them plastic they need to make the items that they want to make. So this idea of, only collecting 1s and 2s and we throw 3 through 7s in the trash is not good for our economy in Indiana, because some of those manufacturers want that plastic. So it's a very regressive idea to say, let's throw it in the trash.
I need to interject. These discussions are great. I love them. But this is not, we could talk about what to take, not to take till 9 o'clock tonight. The fact is, I know, I appreciate it, Maggie. I'm just trying to get us to the point, what motions are going to be made to proceed, dissolve, sit at the bills, let's go. We don't have all day to discuss this.
But you said you don't want to change any of the services, but it sounds like what you're saying is, we think that we should just in the future accept 1s and 2s and cardboard, because that's the only thing.
I don't think that decision's ever
That's
been
not
made.
been decided.
If we come in and, for instance, we have a vendor that would like to have the glass, and we can designate an area that you bring your glass and the vendor picks it up, and we don't get this big cost, by all means, let's do it. If the price of plastics comes up and it makes sense, maybe we start sorting. We have to be nimble in this. We can't stick our head in the sand and say, we're gonna put our head in here and we're gonna stick it in there and we're gonna spend another 30 years like we've done now. We pushed this charges down and down and down. I initiated this because I went out to the center to say, how did you determine what you're charging? Businesses, individuals, different property owners could not find any information because our system was so outdated. And it was frustrating because at some point we need to decide why you get a $45 bill and you get a $900 bill. Why? Okay, and that's why when we had additional funds in the edit fund, I proposed let's utilize those for the year 2024 and figure this issue out so that 2025 we would have some answers. That was my proposal. I haven't heard another proposal since I initiated that.
I made that, that's not true, first off, and if you want to say that, that's wrong, because I actually made a motion for dissolving and merging and all those, so that was a proposal, sorry. And because it did not pass, you all voted against it. So, commissioners, you had said in the meeting that it will not close. Is there any motions from any of those recommendations from either of you that Rebecca proposed?
That's just three, that's just the three options that I think there is. Now, if anyone on board has any other options, we have one here.
Well, that was, if you guys read the paper, my article, that was really what I thought also. Time is our problem right now on a couple of those options. Only option I see right now, myself only, we send the bills out and we try to fine tune this to a way the board feels like it needs to go in the future.
And I've got state statutes right here if you need them to, if the county wants to loan solid waste money until it receives those bills back, here's all the information you need. Indiana codes and everything in there. It's through State Board of Accounts. So you can loan them, the county could choose to loan them money. Obviously, you can charge interest if you want. County might make a buck. So there you go. But there it is.
What? Thank you, Chris. What worries me if we would dissolve it right now, which that could be an option in the future, to keeping it open like it's running every day, not missing a beat. That's where my biggest concern is. That's what I worry about the most. I'm just speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for the rest of the board, but I would support dissolving it if we had a good plan. I don't think we got one right now.
How can you dissolve the board?
No.
You don't know where you're gonna go or what you're gonna do.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
He said if we had a good plan.
Yeah.
Well, I think part of it, what Becky read there, is it takes 90 days to dissolve this board. Surely, in 90 days, we can assemble a plan. We haven't yet, you're exactly. And if we pass the $45, who's saying we're gonna change anything other than charge the taxpayer $45 yet? And we'll continue to do this. In 5 years, it'll be, as I said, 2 million, 10 years, 4 million worth of subsidies. So the question is, are we taking this matter seriously, or are we just, again, gonna throw a Band-Aid on it, charge people $45 and move on? What is our motivating factor to make us look at this organization and try to understand what's fair?
Yeah, it's
Be the board. You're the board, be validated.
We haven't went anywhere.
Well, I'm sorry.
Where are we gonna go? We tried.
I said right here in February at the meeting, I think all of you remember that I was here by myself, nobody else. And I asked them for the $45 bill to be sent out so we could maintain this and then come up with a plan and even bring in an outside company to come up with some strategy on what to do with this. Because there's people that do this every day. So I asked that in February, and it's been 5 months, and now here we are.
I made recommendations to hire Baker Tilly, who is a financial company who could help us assess the bills, how it would work, who would get billed, give us numbers, and that idea was pretty much shot down. So, I don't know.
So they need money starting next month, is that correct?
Excuse me?
To keep it open, they need money starting next month, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
How are we gonna get them the money?
Send out
Bill. Send out the bill.
So, again, I'm gonna ask the commissioners, because they made the comment in the meeting that it will not close. What is the plan for it not to close tonight? What's the plan? You guys made the comment. What is the plan? Because it falls back on the county, not the city. So I just need to know what the county's plan is.
Well, we'd have to ask the council for funding to keep it afloat.
Okay.
And that's where I said earlier, we can't speak for the council.
Can you even do that?
This loan thing, yes.
Yeah.
But
You can loan
I asked this, what Connie did, can a city loan money to the solid waste? It'd be the county in essence, but it cut off in the copy, so it's missing some words there, but there's a process, but has to be advertised, I guess. I don't know. There's quite a few things in here that will need to be done, but
So why would
It's
you
still
choose
broke.
that over just sending out the $45 bills?
Wasn't the
what?
Wasn't the funding already approved last year for this year?
Yes, it was.
So where's it at?
Yeah.
Where's the funding at?
Oh, that was the billing. It was never collected.
And who decided how to send the bills out?
This board did, right here, nobody made a motion to send it out.
I think the motion came not to send them out when it went in legal advice that the city received that they was going to initially use edit funds to pay for a portion of the county, but not the entire county, meaning Tell City and Troy would have been getting billed where other parts of the county would not be getting billed. And that came under the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause from a legal opinion that would not be allowed or could be challenged in a court. So that's.
Hamilton opted for that option.
Yes, Hamilton did. So that's why I didn't include it in that. But Tell City are Perry County residents. We pay a county tax.
So I guess we're back to what is the plan so it doesn't close August the 1st?
Exactly. We'll go back to what I said earlier. It was said in the county commissioner meeting. I just curious.
Again,
What's the motion?
people say that, everyone's going to fly on the social media, but if the intent does not equal the action, then the action takes over the intent. I'm going to judge not you by what you say, but by what you do.
Yep. So again, I'm going to ask commissioners, there's three of you. Is there a yes or no? What's the plan? It's not closing, right?
Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
I don't think it's.
There's not a motion yet.
It's not our decision here, as on this.
Well, I haven't heard that plan yet.
You
Then.
can't until the council meets.
Oh.
Can they not decide to send out the bills though?
That can
Yeah.
be decided here.
They can decide to send out the bills.
That is, there was 3 points that affected products, guys, okay, and I'm talking as a, so, the other point to consider in this is that budget was approved last year.
We can't hear you, Wes. People are talking over here.
The budget was approved last year, the bills were not approved, so let's clarify that, okay? The bills, that fee that was approved years ago, okay? If that's gonna change, it has to go out to public meeting, and it has to be public comment, and all that, you can change the fee structure. That was done 3 or 4 years ago. The budget was approved. My budget gets approved in all kinds of nonprofits. That doesn't mean we're gonna stick to that budget, it doesn't mean we're not gonna have amendments to that budget. So keep that in mind. The budget for next year is on the docket for August. So we're having this conversation, next month, we're gonna try and present a budget to the council to then get approved again. That doesn't mean that this conversation stops and we're 18 months now further down the road. This board has made more progress in 7 months, and I'll go on record saying that, because I've been a part of this for 7 years now, has made more progress in 7 months than we've made in 7 years, okay? And I think that should be noted. They've asked more questions, they've got more public support, more public comments than we've done in 7 years. So I think that needs to be kept in mind here, that you guys are trying to make decisions for the district. And there's banter back and forth. You can't make everybody happy, I get that. But you've made more progress in 7 months than we've made in 7 years. So I applaud you for that, I appreciate that. I think the point of the matter tonight, though, is still, in 30 days, we most likely will not have funds to fund the district anymore. Okay, the county said we're not gonna close, I get that. We don't know that plan. So you can choose to either not do anything tonight and wait on the council meeting, okay? Or you can choose to move forward with one of the other options. And I think that's the throw it on the commissioners, I think, is just passing a bucket again, which again, we've done for 7 years.
I was just asking because they said it wasn't closing. So I apologize if that came off that way, but I'm just trying to, there's a comment that was made and I'm just trying to figure out what the plan is.
Right.
I get that.
I have a question about the $25 fee. Is this going to be based on a calendar year where the fee will actually expire on 12/31 of this year? Or will that carry over?
Oh.
Yearly
Yearly March, yeah.
2024.
Yeah.
We should have thought about that earlier.
Someone make the motion and either you vote it up or you vote it
Certainly.
down, just to send the bills
I
out.
would say, entertain one.
Just vote. It's your civic obligation, vote, yes or no, send the bills out or
Oh,
not
like,
send the bills out.
usually the chairman does not make motions, usually. I see where we're at, and I think I expressed my feelings. I will make a motion to send the bills out. With that motion, the board has to figure out a plan to make it more efficient. If that's going to have to form a committee, I will form a committee for that. What we are missing here is our advisory board. That anybody's interested, we need an advisory board. And how our advisory board works, they gather information for the full board and bring it to us. We just cannot get down and meet every week because it has to be a public meeting because of the way we're set up. The advisory board can gather information and bring it to the full board for a vote. That is what we've been missing here in this organization for the last couple of years. Kind of got off the motion here, but.
How do you get that?
But I want to make a motion to send the bills out. With that motion, I want us to form a committee and work on more efficient ways to operate solid waste.
So when would the bills drop?
Hmm.
When would the billing drop?
As soon as possible.
Are they ready to go? I don't know.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah, it wouldn't take long.
It wouldn't take long.
Yeah.
It has to because we're going to be on funds.
Yeah.
By doing this, we won't have to ask the council for funding.
Right.
Right, Wes?
Deadline be, we have about 1 month left.
Okay.
The alternative.
So Randy, just while you're discussing your motion about Senate bills, would you be fair to add if the county's willing to fund it, if you talk to the county council? Because it sounds like that's the plan that I'm hearing. Would we not send the bills out then if they want to just fund it? And well, since you all have been patient, I give you a break, let the county fund it like there maybe, I'm hearing, might be considered. Would that be fair to say? If they have the next meeting and say, hey, we was going to fund it, you didn't have to send the bills out.
Would you want to amend my motion then?
I don't know. I was just saying, is that something to consider?
Send the bills
That's something to consider. I mean, we can say,
No, you're saying that you can, what if the council in the next meeting was willing to fund it?
So what? Send the bills out.
But they're always saying that there's not any money to play with, so this is your best.
Fair enough. Hey, I was just bringing it for discussion.
This is your best situation.
and I'm not ruling out dissolving the solid waste district in the future. I'm trying to get us some time and to keep it all open.
And with this being a public meeting, people are gonna know you're sending the bills out. Some of them may go in and pay the bills before they even come out. So that would be a help.
Yeah. Good point, Chris.
I was just bringing that because I hate for them to have their meeting, discuss it, thinking that was a plan that may have been discussed or not. I don't know, but that's all. So I'm not saying you amended, I was just discussion of your
Well, the
motion.
council meeting is at 5 today up at the Armory, right?
It is.
Yes.
And
So
we
if
need,
anybody wants to attend.
we need to be leaving in about 10 minutes if anybody's planning to attend that.
Got a motion on the floor.
It was just like it would be in March, or first year.
You have a motion.
I got a motion on the floor.
Are you asking for a second?
I'm asking for a second.
I will second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Are there any discussions?
I just want to make one statement that I will vote no simply because we have had the opportunity to address this for an extended period of time and we haven't done a thing. By kicking the can down the road, as the saying goes, we're going to collect $45 in an unfair fashion that everyone seems to agree for another year, and we still have nothing concrete to explain to the residents, the businesses, as to why we arrived at this fee interchange.
It's not, it's
Well-
not the citizens' fault that it hasn't been dealt with in 7 years or for the past 7 months.
I agree. Sorry.
It's not our fault. And so now it's on you to do something about it. We are at a crisis point as far as a lot of people are concerned. And it needs to be dealt with.
Motion's on the floor. Yes, Dan.
I've been involved in this long before it was ever mandated from the state to be part of what we are doing now. We had the first, I wrote a curbside pickup, started in Tell City. Pat Kellums, and I helped him out as when Bill Goffett he was the mayor. And they did, I think it was 9th Street. Where's Jim Rice at? Yeah, his place there. 10th Street. All of 10th Street, they took care of. And they picked up curbside, they picked up once a week. And took care of that and got the program started for Tell City. The hardest thing about getting recycling going is to get people in the mode of recycling, to get them to do that. So we've got really a great program. You can ask any of the counties south of Indianapolis about who we are as far as curbside, our recycling programs, and they come down here and look and see what we've done. I don't know if this has been recently, but Lynn and I we were on the advisory board. There was 4 of us, and then we were asked to go out, as you well know. And you, Mayor, we was asked to go out and figure out what do we need to do to keep this program going, be more efficient, and at no cost to the district or the county or the cities. We went out with transit levels, all different methods with our experience and understanding on how to try to make things more profitable, more efficient, and what we need to do to keep the recycling program going. Well, Lynn went up and presented it all in front of the board. The board heard everything that we said. We give them some options. We give them what we thought it was going to take, because without the baler, we're shut down. We don't have a program. We don't have anywhere to go with it. The baler's down. So we was going to need a new building. Was that old building up there? We took each and every one of these that was on this board. We walked you through it, showed you everything. Everybody was tickled to death. Come to the meeting, and it's just like what we got today. Nobody's making any decisions. Never even come up to any of us, of the 4 that was on the advisory board, to say, well, we thank you for what you've done the last year and a half. All the time you spent. Never recognized us being there. And you're trying to ask for another board? Okay.
You better think about what you're doing or how you're going to treat people if you're going to get people to be on board and truly commit to doing something.
I wasn't on any of that.
I realize that. We got 2 of them here that weren't. And if they don't know what I'm talking about, then they must be running for a position or something.
But in the meantime, we need to get a vote there.
I wasn't there either, so I don't know. You're right. Well, Steve Luntering, Mike Simon, myself, and Lynn. And we were very dedicated about everything that we did.
I read a lot of the minutes from those meetings.
Yeah. And we were all fully, we'd go out to Branchville and we'd work with them out there, try to help them out. We went to Derby and got that established. Michael Simon, he was a big part of that. And we spent all kind of time up at counting. None of the board members.
And I always bragged about that board because we had Steve Luttring and Mr. Sprinkle here on there. And when I wrote a grant and had Lynn involved with writing a grant, when we needed new containers, when they were complaining at the Derby store, or the Derby Market, whichever one is on 70, they were complaining our containers are full all the time, and people are throwing it on the ground, and we don't like how that looks behind our store. So we wrote a grant, it was funded, we got a bunch of these new wire containers so that we could serve those people in Derby better. They get a lot of tourists out there, and Monday morning, those things are all full of beer cans, pop cans, whatever. People from other places are also used to recycle. And so they developed a whole
Randy,
system.
point of order on this. I'm sorry, Maggie, I love you, but we have got like 5 minutes until this other meeting where they're discussing a very important edit topic that we need. Gail's got to do that, I've got to be in it, Smokey's got to be it, and we're in trouble. If we wait any longer, we're not gonna have no vote, because I think God will.
Okay, motion and a second. I think we've had some discussion. Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
No. No.
Okay, I want a head count.
I'm a no.
Okay, Gail? No?
No for now.
No? Randy, no? Becky, no? I'm an aye.
I'm an aye.
I have to abstain.
I'm a no.
Actually, I'll just vote no. I'll just vote no for now. Well, I'll abstain. Because this legal issue that we got, no, yeah. So it's. Actually, Randy, I admit, you're right. No, you're right. I'm voting yes, because it's everybody. I misunderstood no, sorry.
Yeah, everybody.
So I am an aye for the board. I'm an aye. I'm an aye.
You was no, Smokey? Okay.
And I'm an aye.
So the motion failed.
Sorry.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor.
Hang on, there's a motion on the floor.
Motion is dissolve the solid waste district.
And let the county take it over. Yes, you need to listen to this.
Guys, listen up, please.
There is a motion on the floor to dissolve the solid waste district.
And replace it, I think she said, with the county operated solid
Yeah,
waste.
county operated
Solid
solid
waste. I wish that would have been made earlier, because I can support that a lot more. Yeah.
Okay, and,
That's a shame it wasn't. Sorry.
motion made, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And so it will not close, the county will take it over. That's the plan, right?
Yeah, we're gonna come up with the funding in some method. We'll keep it open. We're gonna operate it, but we're not gonna be locked in this.
I really hate that motion wasn't made sooner before the other one, because that solves a lot of things, and I don't think people would have walked out of this room as upset knowing that it's still gonna be operable. So I don't know why that was made that way, but I'm glad it was. Huh?
The county will fund it.
I'm glad it was, so thank you for making that motion.
Okay. Next meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I should still have me after.
You know, you went all the way to the airport, back. Gotta go through McDonald's drive-thru, get cheeseburgers. So I'm gonna pick her up, she took her mom to that.
She was with the lady outside. Who intended to?
Yeah. She couldn't grab it.
Good story, good ending.
Yeah. Pee-wee's Big Adventures.
Yeah. Good seeing you.
That's what I said, good luck to you.
Listen, I wish I'd made that. I wish I'd made that. Right. The county, you've got three of them. Three of us right here. We'll make those. When they first, like Jerry's car, go Jerry. Yes, that's right. When I said this, put this on the property.
people are. And all this came, that's what Lincoln was like, back in that day, $32,000. It was hard to work in damn big store. Yeah, we do remember, right?
Yeah. I was here as the first meeting. I'm just parking lot.
See you later.
So I initiated first.
So I said, I that's what
I took it as this board right now.
Yeah. And I think you guys have done a great job. Pulling stuff together, actually trying to make a decision.
Yeah.
But
That will actually
I've got
track
some
so that when you have a problem,
Tell
next door neighbor can get you before we ever.
Tell me,
I don't know what you're hearing.
I don't have an inside track. They
Tell you the truth, because it's not, it's good.
I'll tell you long enough, you think you can fund something, the council says no, you
Train,
ain't.
because they, I don't care. We're ordering AEDs.
I know it's here.
Executive.
That's what she